I appreciate your time this afternoon. He's had an ambitious first day in office, reversing several of Donald Trump's signature policies.
Yes, thanks for having me today. This is what presidents have done in recent years with the new administration. They try to get rid of some of the old policies of the outgoing president when there is a change, especially from a Democrat to a Republican or a Republican to Democrat. We've seen this now over the last few decades. But what I see right now going on in America is it's going through several wars. They're almost in a civil war. I don't like hearing myself say that, but socially and economically they seem to be. And with the COVID-19, they are in this war against a virus that is almost unbeatable, but I know they're not going to quit. I'm happy to see that Biden, at least, is trying to get some federal policies around it to help get everyone on pretty much on the same page, but you do have to look at the particulars between an urban environment and a rural one. But I think now with Amazon and so many others jumping in, willing to help to disseminate at least the vaccine, and they're paying a lot more attention on getting their head around who has caught it and from whom. We can be very fortunate in Australia that I have certainly seen how on top of things you are here, and very thankful for that, of course, that everywhere I've gone almost since last March of last year, you have to sign in and people can quickly identify where the disease has probably emanated. So let's hope with all the deaths we've seen in America, in the USA, that this will start to change after a few months, and that we'll see hopefully a national slowdown in the deaths, and that they'll begin to come out of this for economic reasons and reasons of just saving lives, and then looking at other issues going on as a result of all the traumas that the U.S. has suffered over the last couple of years at least.
Hopefully they can start to get on top of this. Look, I want to touch on Kamala Harris. She opens a new chapter in US politics as the first female vice president. Barbara, she has an important role to play. What can we expect?
We'll have to wait and see what role she has to play. I look at this through several prisms. Number one, it's always nice to see a person of color achieve a higher level as being a first. And we've had so many firsts with this administration. And Kamala, of course, is the first woman who's Black American, Asian American, and the first woman in the United States. So that's very nice. What I am disappointed in, having said that, is that Joe Biden came out and said, because of the pressures of Black Lives Matter, George Floyd being killed May 25th, and so many coming up against him with insisting that he hire a Black woman. And he said early on that he would hire a woman and he would hire a Black woman. So having said that, you need to understand that my euphoria over Barack Obama, who decided when he was a sophomore at Harvard University, and I met a classmate of his, and knew early on, Barack Obama became president because Barack Obama wanted to become president. That was his agenda. He worked toward it. He achieved it. He earned that as a man, as an individual. I think it takes away from people of color when someone chooses a person only because of the color of their skin and the pressure they're under, and needing to have to elect or select for hire a woman or a person of color or a person with blue eyes, or because they're tall, short, fat, skinny, whatever. It lessens the quality of that person. It lessens the position of the office, and it takes away from their personal dignity. And as a person and a woman of color, it turns back the clock on the status of, I'm here because I earned it, because I really worked hard for this, and this was not by luck. It was through earning it just as others have earned it. So I hope you understand my
I do.
thinking
They
on
should
that.
be the perfect candidate. That's what it comes
Yes.
down to. Yes. Look, it was an elaborate and star-studded show yesterday. What did you make of the inauguration?
Very different from any other, another first. We live, because of COVID, in this world of doing things virtually, as I'm coming from you, to you virtually right now. And that was, of course, very different. Biden's speech itself, an inaugural speech in the past has typically been one where the incoming president sets out an agenda for the nation and tells you what he hopes to achieve. And I believe one of the few times Biden touched on that yesterday is when he talked about getting COVID under wraps. And that made sense. It was a good thing. I'm glad he did that. I like Biden. He's a wonderful human being. I mean, he has a little bit of foot and mouth disease. I think most of us have forgiven him for that over the decades, and we know that's who he is. Yeah. So that's okay. And whereas presidents in the past have gotten the 100-day, we've called it the honeymoon, where the press sort of lays back and they don't come after him with attacks, he's going to get to enjoy that. Donald Trump did not. He didn't get the first week, let alone, 100 days. But Biden's speech was more of a sermon than it was an inaugural address. My hope is, because I think Biden is pretty much in the middle in his heart, if he is running the show to the extent that he can, there can be some hope. If he's going to become controlled by the left, or if Kamala is too far to the left, and if he's controlled by AOC or through Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, then who knows what's going to happen. Yesterday was a positive day. There were a lot of high notes that were struck. I think the young 22-year-old lady with her poem was beautiful, a surprise to us all. And it sort of culminated the last few months of 2020 in a rather amazing way. And also, who was it? Amy Klobuchar. She gave a lovely, warm message at the beginning. So I'm hopeful that the Democrats and the Republicans are going to be willing to work somewhat across the aisle and stop this acrimony of the red team and the blue team. And let's get back to the business of the people of America and having America once again become open to joining the world. And as we saw yesterday, of course, with Biden being willing to join the Paris Accord, there's some things that I think he's doing through the stroke of the pen, and just by trying to change what Trump had done. It's not going to make good sense to try to stop building the wall. We've got 9,000 people marching up right now as I speak to the borders of the United States from Latin America. And Biden has said that he's going to have a 100-day moratorium. And he said before that we can take on 2 million people more without any problem. I don't understand that at all.
Barbara, I wish we had more time to chat. It's always interesting, and I appreciate your time. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good weekend. Happy Australia Day, and thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Barbara Heimbach there. Well,